Welcome back, everybody. It is episode 24 of the Jader and Kyle show. We're coming back at you guys with a big one this week.
That's 42.
42. Hey, it's a good tribute, but not
That's
this
a good
week.
number.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. It's been a fun couple of weeks that we've been going on. I know it's been different days going back and forth, but we're here to you live now. And today's going to be a fun episode, guys, just based on Jader's shirt. I mean, Jader, you want to give him a little tease of what we're going to be doing today? Look at that.
Man. Look at that.
Batman,
and
are you
whoop,
Superman?
little Superman tattoo. So guess what we're talking, guys? We are talking Batman versus Superman. I'm hyped, but before we get into the movie, let's talk about our week, Kyle. What's up? Did you see anything new? I know you saw something new that I've been dying to see that's on Netflix. Spider Boy's in it, I heard.
Yeah, I saw The Devil All the Time. Yeah, The Devil All the Time. Movie about basically the rednecky part of West Virginia in the 1950s and how just being raised, what the way your parents treat you as you're being raised reflects on how you're going to be when you grow up. And boy, does Tom Holland suffer from that. Just, terrible people. Every actor plays a terrible person, but it's enthralling, but at the same time, it's also very hard to watch because I really don't care about any of these people. So that's a tough one, but there's a lot of good movies out there, guys. I just saw one called Kajillionaire, which is coming out next week. I'll have a review for that one out soon. But I'm also at this point kind of convinced that we're not going to have any more great movies the rest of the year. I kind of want to get your opinion. Peter. Have you seen anything really recently that you're like, oh man, this thing is amazing? Because I saw Tenet, and I didn't feel that way about Tenet.
No, I know. You're actually Tenet is actually very mixed. It's really down the middle. Like you're gonna love it or hate it. There's a lot of people that thought it was all right. You're one of the few. Not the few, to be honest with you. There's actually quite a few people out there that feel the same way that you do. That are not too crazy about it. I'm still haven't seen it. I haven't had time to see anything, especially since there's no movie theater open here. I would have to drive an hour and a half to go see that movie. Mm-hmm. So, and I feel like I'm a Chris Nolan's my boy. I know you don't feel that great about him. I do like his movies. But I dissed them with Dunkirk. I didn't go support Dunkirk, and I haven't seen this one. So I feel like I need to go see it to support my boy Nolan. But I've actually kind of and again, movies are all subjective. At the end of the day, even you told me you might like it. But I feel like I've gotten a little turned off with Tenet, where I'm not rushing to go see it once it because theaters are going to open very soon here. I heard supposedly we're in Miami-Dade's jumping into phase 2 where they're going to start opening movie theaters and things like that. So once that I'm allowed to see it around here, I'll go check it out. But I was one of the ones, and I'd said this repeatedly on the show, where I'm like, no, as soon as the theaters open, I'm going to rush to go see 10. I just didn't think I was going to have to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours to go see it. And that's especially after seeing, I haven't seen in-depth reviews. I've basically read a sentence, Tenet, yay or nay. Some blogs that I follow, they'll be like, oh, Tenet was awesome. No, it was a piece of shit. Nolan's trying too hard. Nolan, this and that and that. So that's basically all I've gotten. I do want to see it. Nolan's my boy. I just haven't been able to. With the freaking life I'm having now, it's been busy.
Well,
I do want to make time for it.
I was telling Steve yesterday that at this point, I'm just convinced that they're going to give the Oscar to Hamilton and call it a year and just move on because it makes the most sense, right? It's a great movie. I love it. And I feel like everyone else kind of does still. So let's just give it to Hamilton, move on, start fresh in 2021. But Jader, you said you've been busy this week. You had a Schmoedown match drop on Wednesday. Tell us about it, man. How are you feeling coming out of it?
I'm happy. I am happy. I mean, if you guys haven't seen the match by yet, I'm sorry. I'm going to spoil it for you guys, but I lost my first match. It's the first match. It's a deep cut. You get me, and especially one where I played an amazing game, or at least I felt I played an amazing game, where I had this momentum going, and I lost not by my own doing. You know, again, for the people, I'm gonna just talk Schmodown talk right now. If you don't know, then
luck wasn't in your
message me and
favor.
I'll explain to you.
Yeah.
Huh? It
Luck
wasn't. It wasn't. They gave me a category that I is very broad. One, because again, that match made it seem like I don't know 80s movies. You know, I'm just not as strong compared to how I am 90s and 2000s and all that. But I've seen a bunch of 80s movies. Like, it's not like I have, but they didn't. They asked me about the one classic I haven't seen, which is freaking Princess Bride, which I've gotten so much shit for never seeing that movie. You know, but it didn't go in my favor. I felt like I played a hell of a game. I've gotten major props from a bunch of people saying like, you went out, but you went out like fighting. You went out with a a scruffle. And this is a guy that's literally chosen to go and beat this whole tournament, to win this whole tournament. Like he's a big favorite. People that really know the Schmodown, they know there's a couple of roadblocks that way, but he's still considered a top 4 competitor.
You had him.
Me going,
you had him.
Yeah, but me going, me going toe to toe with him, I give myself a pat in the back. It sucks because I did, and had I listened to my manager, had I gone first, and it would have been different, because I honestly kept saying, I'm like, wow, watch everybody spin away from Eddie Murphy films, because I even spun away from him my last match. Not because I didn't know him, but because I wanted something better. And I spun away from him. I think this time I would have been like, you know what? It's fate. Like, I got him again. Let me just do it. And I knew, again, I would have been up 8 points, because I wouldn't have to go multiple choice with any of the questions he got asked. I knew every single one of them. Actually got called out on it, because I'm like nodding my head as soon as he was answering it. Like, they're like, dude, leave it for the suspense. But I couldn't help it, because I'm like, fuck, bro, I wish I knew this. Not knew this. I wish I had this category. And again, that wheel, it wasn't my day. It wasn't my day to win, because again, once I spun it again and I land on it could have been a slice to the right and a slice to the left, and I would have been fine. I would have been fine. And that wasn't the case. I ended up going with my loss, but I ended up feeling like a winner. I'm not going to lie to you. As cliche as it sounds, I kind of felt like I had a Rocky moment, because every one of my matches, like, oh, he didn't play anybody strong enough. Oh, it wasn't, the second match. Oh, it's not that Jader won. It's just this guy really lost. Like, I felt like I haven't been getting the props that I deserve. And I felt with this match, everybody was like, holy shit, like, this guy, you're here to stay. And that's a lot of the comments that I've been reading has been that they're like, you have a good future. You're going to get drafted high next year, and you're here to stay. You can tell you care about the game. One comment that I loved that this guy wrote was that he's like, I can see the fanboy in you, but also see that, you're fucking forced to be to be dealt with. So he's like, it's awesome seeing how you are. And it's true, because I do fanboy, and I still, like, again, with the Mark telling me that the Meet the Robinsons question was wrong, I was like, oh man, there goes my perfect round, because I always miss one on the first round. And then he tells me it's correct, and I'm like, oh, like super surprised, because that was the one question that I was unsure of out of the 8 that I got asked. Everything else, if I answer like this, where I was like, all right, I know this. But, it sucks. But at the same time, I feel like I've gained a couple fans. I've gained some people telling me, like, bro, hell of a match, especially towards somebody like Tom, where, you again, didn't lose because you didn't know didn't know the questions. You didn't lose by your own doing. You lost because of opponent's choice, which is there to, like, basically screw you in the second round. But I got to pick up my second round matches. It's not over for me this year. Thankfully, I'm still going to be in the team's tournament. I'm going to be at least I have one more match to go, at least, which is, for me, I don't feel like I am. I feel like I will have another match after that. I feel very confident about the team that I'm playing. I just can't say who I'm playing. There's no easy team in the team's tournament, to be completely honest with you. I feel like maybe I'm probably the easiest team in the team tournament, given the history, But I feel like if I strategically Yeah, if I literally strategically plan this game, because it's got to be strategy. It's got to be strategy and knowledge. I feel like I will win the first match. If the wheel's on my side, I got this. You know,
keep your head up, man. You're doing
I have a hell of a partner, which gets counted out super quick, and the man has his knowledge. He has there's gaps, but I feel like I fill those gaps, and vice versa. There's some of my gaps where he's going to be able to fill them. So I feel like we're actually going to be a really good team. So I'm hyped about that, man. So
right future ahead of you, man. It's not over. We're gonna get you ready, and we're gonna make sure you get those wins coming up. But guys, today for our Batman versus Superman discussion, we are not alone. We decided to enlist in a DC fan, a DC expert. A lot of us here are DC fans, but we wanted to grab someone special, someone unique, and that person we grabbed was Miss Miriam Tapia. Welcome to the show, Miriam.
Hi, thanks for having me. Wow. I love what you just said, Jader. I'm a big fan of yours, so you got this.
Thank you so much. Thanks
for having me, guys. It's amazing. It's been overdue, I think. I believe. I don't know.
Absolutely. We have, honestly, let me tell you, there's so many great people here in South Florida that we want to have. I've been talking. I think I have somebody else that I gotta show some love to. He showed me so much love, and I gotta show him love on the show as well. So there's so many people that we want to get on the show. But again, I have the Schmodown people that want to jump on, and then we have some. So it's like so many of my, and there's even friends that aren't they're not writers or reviewers, but they're like, dude, I can talk film all day. Like
I know.
Get me on,
Get so like 5 people on this show. Awesome.
There you go.
It's awesome.
No, but Miriam, I mean, it's so nice to have you on here because you are really a bigger figure down in Miami, South Florida area. And you've been very busy with your job lately. Tell us about your new show that you've got going on. They've been running the past couple weeks.
Yeah, so we have, it's Inside South Florida. I was a producer on the show, and now I've been bumped up to a host / reporter / everything you can think of. With COVID, it's just, times are weird. It's like, you're working from home. And, we used to see each other all the time in these press junkets, FYI, that's how I met both of you, It just sucks that human interaction is what I miss most, seeing you guys, having that excitement of, interviewing actors and, directors, producers, everyone. But yeah, our show constantly is, telling stories for the community. And now, things are picking back up. With Tenet coming, movie theaters are opening up here in Miami, very, I think starting today. So there's just a lot, slowly but surely things are getting normal, you would say,
as close as we can.
Yeah,
right. So our show is informing people but also entertaining at the same time, so that's what we do on our show. Inside South Florida, you can catch it Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays at 12 and 7 p.m. Sunday at 3 p.m. Okay, great.
There you go. That plug.
quick plug. But yeah, no, it's been busy. It's been good. Busy is good nowadays. So yeah, that's a plus.
Absolutely. I think we had a big break this year, with not doing any work. Everybody, I think it was like a month or two just, playing Mario Kart. And
yes. Okay. All right. Okay. If you want to get there. All right. Kyle, I don't know if you know, but I had gotten a Switch earlier during this quarantine, and I gave Jader my number. I don't know, the SKU number. What's it called? The friend code.
The friend ID.
Yeah, the friend ID. I'm like, yeah, sure. Whatever. Okay, it's gonna be a friendly thing.
Yeah.
And then one night with all my Mario Kart, when my friends were playing Mario Kart, he literally demolished every single one of us. And all my friends hate you for it. And now we want revenge. So we're still waiting for that day. We have to get
I'm waiting, man. You let me know. I haven't played since,
I know. But, it's funny. I don't play it often either. But yeah, I'm waiting for that day.
It's so much fun. I think if you ask me what's my favorite video game franchise, I have to say Mario Kart. I love the most. Yeah. I love God of War, and I love stories that have games that have great stories and the epics and all that. But give me Mario Kart anytime. The only what Mario Kart I suck at the one on the phone. I am terrible. I
They
hate
have
that
one
game.
on the phone. You see,
they have one on they have one on the phone and it sucks. Don't get it.
Okay, all right, noted.
But yeah, no, I honestly, to be honest with you, I do. I remember that she tagged me because I guess they took a picture of a
We
Zoom
took
call
a
that they were
picture.
on, and they all like flicked me off, and she tagged me in it. It was the greatest. It was great.
I'm like, I'm gonna tag him, okay? And then they're like, yeah, do it. Fuck him. I'm like, okay.
You know,
But
now
it was a good time.
Is Miriam, who is your go-to Mario Kart character then?
Yoshi. Yoshi's like my go-to. Yeah, Yoshi's my boy, you know? And then after I think is Luigi, but Yoshi's my number one, my day one. Yeah. Jader, who are you? Waluigi, right?
No.
I don't remember.
The one on the Switch, I switched them up. So I use Rosalina. That's my boo. That's my boo. And I use Dry Bowser.
Oh, okay.
So I use Dry Bowser, and then there's another person that I pick, like Shy Guy and things like that.
Yeah, Shy Guy
Dry
too.
Bowser, Rosalie. Like when I want to piss you off, I'll pick one of those two because I will destroy you.
I don't know why I thought Waluigi. I just thought I'm like this asshole Waluigi. Why not?
No. And then if you add like the Nintendo 64 one, it was Yoshi all day.
Yeah.
Yoshi. Well, and then sometimes when people know like that's who you pick, they'll pick them first, and you're like So true. my backup for 64 was Toad. Yeah, Tim, absolutely. For the Switch, Bowser, Dry Bowser. Okay. Toad too.
Toad,
Toad. And Princess Peach. The girls, for some reason, really fast in these games. They're awesome.
Yours is Shy Guy, right, Kyle? You said?
I get Shy Guy, put him in the shoe car, and you guys are all dust right there. I got you, Jader. I got to challenge you one day, man.
Oh man,
we got to get on that. We will. We'll coordinate a night. We'll coordinate a night.
Absolutely. I need one soon. To be honest with you, Jenny, love Jenny. I need one soon. I need to like just disconnect. Yeah. I actually got a game tonight. I got the 3-in-1 Mario, the Nintendo 64 and all that. Yeah, but I know I won't be able to play that until like a month. But whatever. So, but yeah, that was fun. That was a great night. And now so I don't know if you want to plug in something that is coming out tomorrow, something that you did. It's up to you.
Sure.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, you know what? I already plugged the show.
Since he mentioned the movie, and I feel like you are on the opposite end of where he's at.
Yes.
So
let me.
We can have a little quick Tenet review, very quick. Even though I haven't seen it, don't spoil it for me.
No, I won't. And actually, I've only seen it once. I saw it at the Museum of Discovery and Science in Fort Lauderdale. We had a press screening, and it was like 6 of us. And it's what is it, like a 300-seat theater, and like only 6 of us.
We
were like a mile apart, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it was like at 10 in the morning. Awesome. It felt great to be back in a movie theater. To be honest, I really missed it. And in the beginning when I watched Tenet, it was just to promote, hey, Mods is they have the movie in 70mm, which is wow, beautiful. And I think I'm in the minority because it's a lot of mixed reviews, but I absolutely loved the movie. I'm a big Nolan fan. You're right. I didn't see Dunkirk in the theater.
His head's gonna explode when you mention Nolan. He
he cringes. He's like, Nolan.
Yeah.
But I love Inception. That's still my number one movie. I think by a bit this is second. And of course all the Batman films. Yeah, no, this is such a great movie. This is a great movie. I think that's why I'm in the minority to say that I'm in the.
What's crazy when we talk Nolan, everybody has such a different list because as much as I love Inception, I want to say that my favorite is The Dark Knight because it's my favorite film of all time.
True.
But number 2 for me is The Prestige. I love The Prestige so much. And then probably Inception, Memento. I don't know. It always switches. So it's funny how I love how everybody's always different. There's certain like films when you think like, mobster films, it's either going to be The Godfather, Goodfellas, like those are going to be but there's always different perception with Nolan. There's always, and that's what I love about him because I feel like his movies are different. I know Kyle, I'm sorry that this is the Nolan hour right now.
I appreciate his giant swings. I just don't think he lands them all the time. And my disdain's not towards him. It's more towards the hype that he gets. Like, people on the internet act like he's the greatest director who has ever lived. And I'm not there. Dunkirk, I thought, was a bad movie. I did not like that film. And then Tenet, I mean, Miriam, I'm sure you can agree with this. I thought the sound mixing was so bad on it. I couldn't hear what they were saying, and the movie's already confusing at points. So I'm missing information, and then if I'm not hearing what they're saying, then I'm kind of out of it at that point.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I wish there were subtitles in the damn movie, because I'm like, shit, I can't hear what Robert Pattinson's saying, and what the hell's John David Washington saying? I'm like, fuck it, I'm already confused. I'm just like figuring it out. You're absolutely right. The sound mixing was my con of the movie. I think
that's a lot of people are saying that, though. I think that right there, the sound mixing is unanimous, because everyone was like, what the hell did he say? Because you're hearing like in the background as like they're like talking or whatever. So I'm hearing that or not hearing, that
no pun intended.
There you go.
With the movie, I think like the first half is super confusing. You don't know what's going on. And then something happens halfway through where you're like, okay, a lot of stuff that didn't make sense now makes sense. But then still, I don't understand why it makes sense. I don't understand, where all these different rules that he's created and why time is moving backwards for some things. It still doesn't make sense to me. So I'm actually going to go back and see it tomorrow with my dad. Maybe it'll make more sense to me.
And from what I've heard is that once you see it there are people who have seen it 3 times. Why? I don't know. But but there's
some movies that you just see that many times in the theater.
So I'll get to why we're talking about Tenet, because if you see it a second time, it'll make sense, right? So sure, I need to go watch it again. I already watched it once and I'm like, what the hell? So like you said, Jader, I spoke to John David Washington, which is the star of the film. Amazing,
you're making it,
right?
Girl. You're doing it.
I'm doing it. But the reason why I'm saying 2 or 3 times is because there are reporters that when I was in that virtual green room, that were saying that, oh yeah, I watched it 3 times. I'm like, whoa, why? It finally clicked 3 times. I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I mean, sure, but damn, I wanted to go watch it again. I actually genuinely want to watch it again, but 3 times, but yeah, that was that. And then obviously John David Washington, extraordinary performance. I think, we were.
How was he, like, interview wise? There's some people that you interview and they're kind of like cold, and there's some people that are really engaged. And so how was he when you were?
So, and when I was prepping for this interview, I kind of saw, him talking to, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson, because, he's filling in for Jimmy Kimmel. He was also chatting with James Corbin. James
I don't even know. I know who you're talking about.
Samuel Jackson was in the same room as you, the same virtual room as you?
No.
No.
He did like 2
Kyle's head was about to explode twice.
Could you imagine? I love Samuel L. Jackson. Could you imagine? I have okay, now I'm gonna be like tooting my own horn. I have when he was here for Shaft, I got literally we were breathing same air, no COVID, that's cool, right?
Oh, man.
That's pre-COVID, BC, right?
This was BC. Yeah,
before BC. COVID.
Yes.
All right.
So talking to John David, you're right. You see these interviews and you're like, damn, I hope they're like that. They're comfortable with each other, right? Like Samuel L. Jackson and John David Washington, 2 actors. Of course, they're going to be comfortable with each other. But when I got there, when I interviewed him, such a gentleman. He literally gave me all my answers. As a reporter, it's really hard to get answers for actors who are over talking, you know what I mean? But he was great sound bites, great answers, quick. But yeah, we talk about the movie, of course, how he prepared for it. The cast, he Kenneth Branagh, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki. And the little promo I did in my story or in my Instagram was I did he's working with a director who directed one of my favorite Batman films of all time, the Dark Knight trilogy, and he's co-starring against the Batman. So I was like, I have to ask, like, if
you had to ask that question.
I had to. Yeah. So right before they like wrapped me up, I'm like, this is my final question. Okay. If they do ask you, like someone approaches you, Marvel, DC, who would you want to play? You know, villain or hero, sidekick, anyone? His answer is very interesting. I wish I can tell you guys, but I am gonna
speed it up.
No, we'll see it tomorrow. I love it. You gave us a tease. I love that.
Yeah, so it's a great answer. It's a good answer. It's a good answer, and that's all I'm gonna say.
I noticed too that
that's good.
His laugh sounds a lot like his dad. That's what most matches with him. I don't know if you guys I don't know if he laughed during your interview, but I was watching the Samuel L. Jackson one, and when he laughs, I'm like, man, Denzel's there right now, which is super cool to be able to see. Like, I think I find the same thing with Wyatt Russell and Kurt Russell. They have the same look to them, the same demeanor. I think John David Washington's the same as his dad, Denzel. So he's going to be something huge, and that must be really cool to get to talk to him before he really blows up.
You know, it's really cool. It's special because I saw him in Ballers. You know, I saw him in Ballers, and then he was in Black Klansman. I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard great things. And now he's fantastic. In Tenet. No, I've heard great things.
I love that movie. I think more than a lot of people did. It just really blew me away. I thought that was such a great film. It made me again, we never want to talk bad about actors, but we have that one where we're like, I don't like that person. I don't know why. I don't know them. Yeah. I just don't like their body of work. That's Topher Grace for me. Topher Grace just annoys me.
Are we gonna do this? Because I already have one, and I'm gonna like.
No, that's fine. We can do it. Man.
I'm sorry. Everyone's here. Everyone's here for the Batman.
Everyone's like, talk about Batman versus Superman, you dick.
But you know what? This is great intel. Intel. I want everyone to know that this is not. I mean, we're not trash talking. It's just this is how the media world
and not at all. Well, that's what I was gonna say. So again, but I didn't grow up watching that 70s show. I've seen some episodes. I like his character, Eric. But for some reason I'm like, I like Eric. Like, can we replace Eric with somebody else, please? Like, I just don't want to. But as I was watching Black Klansman, I'm like, he's doing such a good job. Topher Grace is doing such an amazing job. So it made me like Topher Grace. That's how much I like Black Klansman. That was the point of everything, to be completely honest with you. You know? So, but yeah. So, whatever. On to you guys. I forgot where I was going because my dog's going everywhere. Sorry.
So, let's say that, Black Klansman, you liked the movie, but you didn't like Topher Grace, right? That's what you were saying. For me, and I'm just gonna say it out here because it's been number one. I think if any of the reporters here see it, they know that we interviewed Evangeline Lilly for Ant-Man and the Wasp. And that was like my third interview, like as a reporter, right? Right. So I'm like, I'm prepared, all this crap. It's exciting. I'm excited. I'm excited because it's a superhero movie. It's Evangeline Lilly. I'm a fan, come on now. Like at the time, the Wasp, it was a major because it was the first woman to kind of co-title in Marvel, right? Yeah. Instead of Captain Marvel, it was the Wasp. So I will never forget this day. I will never forget this moment. I will never forget who was around me. I will never forget. I am, you guys know, we're waiting right before the door, right? Like inside the hotel room where the actor is and, where the interview set is. And I am Mauricio. If you guys know Mauricio, shout out to Mauricio. Who's my favorite.
Shout out to Mauricio. Yep, absolutely.
Because he was, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Mauricio. And I think he'll be fine with this. He was such a fan of Evangeline Lilly from Lost. Me too, because I used to see the show. And I guess we all media here in the media world, we may repeat questions, but it's because our stations or our media outlet needs the answer. They want to, right? Answer, and I think as an actor, you need, you're getting paid all this big money, and you're doing a press tour. I think you're
gonna get asked the question a lot,
right? And you're doing a world press tour, So the number one question she did not like was that, the wasp was the woman. How do you feel? Being the woman, being a part of the title. She hated the question, and I'm like, what? This happened right in front. She's like, "Hi, can you like ask me different questions?" I'm like, "I'm getting repetitive questions." That's never happened to me ever in my life. And it was right before me. It was Mauricio, and Mauricio was like shocked. He was like a big fan, and now that happened, he had to change his questions up. Of course, he's a professional, so he can like make questions up the spot.
You always got to be ready. Imagine if you showed up with like 2 questions and you're like, all right, that's all I got.
Right. And my major question was that question. So you know what I did? I literally, when I got sit in the seat, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to rip my cue cards in front of her, and we're just going to fucking flow with it. If you don't like what I'm asking you, then this is what happened. Right. So it happened. She literally laughed when I there's a gif of me, like throwing away my cue cards. Yeah, I'm a GIF.
You made it.
I fucking made it. I was like, okay.
I just graduated. I'm a GIF now. Like if you put in my name, I'm actually a GIF. It's awesome.
I want a master's into meme. If I can be a meme,
there you go, dude.
I'm like set for life, dude. I'm set for life.
There
but anyways,
that's all you
Evangeline Lilly was that person.
I'm like, well, I'm a GIF. What did you do with your life?
I'm like, I'm a meme. You did not see that? Anyways, that's the story. The moral of the story is I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp. Until this day, I'm not a fan of Evangeline Lilly. She says she hated Miami Media.
Yeah, of course. So it happens. It happens. I mean,
at least it wasn't red.
I haven't had, thank God, haven't had that experience yet. I know eventually it will come. I'm just hoping it's not one I'm like, if it's Topher Grace, it's fine.
Okay. You wouldn't expect it though, because I've heard he's like calm, but whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. But so far, I actually, again, not to throw names out there, but I thought Josh Gad was gonna be that person for the first time, because I heard he's a little difficult, but he was wonderful. He was spectacular with us.
You know who I really enjoyed personally was Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti. I think that was.
Oh yeah.
I wish I couldn't make it.
They seem like fun. They seem fun.
Yeah, no. Really I had the in, but couldn't get off of work, like the one that actually like really pays me.
Yeah.
So I couldn't go. But I heard he was fantastic, and I think the interview was before you saw the movie, right? I think the interview. You saw the movie?
It was after I saw the movie. That's where I kind of came up with my questions afterwards. But I remember this was right around when he got announced the direct Flash, and he was appreciative that I didn't ask him any Flash questions after it. And then afterwards, he's asked me a trivia question about It Chapter 2, which was really cool. He's like, hey, the shirt I'm wearing, what character wears this shirt in the movie? I'm like, oh, man, I gave a guess that was wrong. It was Richie. He was wearing the shirt that Richie wears in It Chapter 2, when he wore that to the interview, which was awesome. Then in the back, I'm like, did he ask you guys that question too? And he didn't ask anyone else that question. So it made me feel kind of special that he really enjoyed it.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah. So
they seem like such laid back, cool people.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he appreciated, again, I don't know if we're kind of feeling the same with It Chapter 2, because I wasn't crazy about
Wait,
it.
hold on, stop. I loved it a little bit more than the original. I don't know.
Whoa.
I know.
Wow.
I
I hold Chapter 1 in such a pedestal because it blew my mind in every single way. I think honestly, for me at least, and
it's like, okay, it's like this. It's like this.
Yeah. No,
like
see, I don't know. For me, it's like this, dude. And I'll tell you, and for me, it was just, it could have been cut so much shorter. And I felt like, again, they knew.
Same exact.
No, it's not that. It's not only that, the ending, right? Sorry, we're getting a review for Chapter 2 as well. The ending of the film, not the ending, but the way that they kept fucking poking fun of themselves for not having a solid ending, even though it stays somewhat true to the book. I felt like they could have changed it up and modernized the ending a little bit, because it felt so cheesy for me at the end. Like I felt like I was in a whole different movie with that ending would have worked if they were still kids, in my opinion, right? Where they're talking down to it and to Pennywise or whatnot. I felt like as an adult saying, "You're not real." Like, I don't know why I felt it so cheesy at the end. And I was like, you could have changed it up a little bit. Like, they changed a lot. Fix that ending, because again, it starts off solid. I think It Chapter 2 starts off really solid.
I agree.
It loses me about a little bit over halfway, where I feel like the first half of the film is really strong. And then it's just a lot of like dead space where we have to know where every single character's nightmare is. We have literally 15, 20 minutes of every single character going through a nightmare. I'm like, all right, man, hurry up. Like, I don't know why I felt
please.
that way, man. Honestly. And I felt like part one was like, it's a very tight film. Reminded me of like Stand By Me, Stranger Things vibe, where I love the kids. Every single kid was a star in that, right? And especially having the stellar cast that it had in the very beginning of the stellar cast that Chapter 2 has. I felt like they weren't as tight as the kids were, you know?
See,
well,
because
that's fine. This is why,
you know why I loved it? I maybe because I'm a big Bill Hader fan, and like, I don't know,
which he crushed. I felt like he crushed that film.
He took it over for me.
No, and he did something so different we've never seen. Yeah, he was joking and all that, but when he needed to get serious, he got serious.
Like that ending?
I love that. Yes. See, one of the takeaways of that ending was Bill Hader. So he was a takeaway from that film.
It lost me halfway through, like you said, Jader. Going to every single person to see their scare. It felt like we were just going through the beats, and it's the same thing as the first one. And as soon as I realized that they're doing the same exact thing, I was out. I just didn't care anymore. But if you guys see we are divisive on this film, let's transition into another film that is very divisive. That is Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. It's what you all came for. It's what you all want to hear about.
Right? Sorry, guys.
This is one of the most discussed movies I've seen in my entire lifetime. Like, people are still talking about this. It goes from the range of it's a masterpiece to one of the worst movies ever made. I've seen all these opinions back and forth. And Miriam, you wanted to talk about a Batman film, and Jader and I were like, let's just dive into it.
Of course. Big one. I thought, maybe Dark Knight trilogy or anything. Okay, Batman versus Superman. I'm like, all right, cool. Sure.
Let's just jump into it.
It's just so controversial, and everybody has a different opinion about it. Because I feel like if we would have done The Dark Knight, everybody kind of would have been on the same page, because we kind of all feel about that. It is one of the great, and Batman Begins is very, very well received. It was, honestly, Kyle and I were like, it's going to be between The Dark Knight Rises or Batman versus Superman. Ooh. But this, I feel, is a lot more controversial than Rises. So we're like, let's get this. Let's do it. Talk to me, girl. What's up?
What did I think about this movie?
Go for it.
Go for it.
I hate this movie so much. I hate this movie. I hate this movie. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Oh. I hate it.
All right, so let's set this up. So Batman versus Superman. In 2013, we get Man of Steel. DCU's announced. We get Man of Steel. Henry Cavill's first, really foray into the general public. People know who he is. And then it's almost like the DCU said, we want to be the MCU immediately. So that's what's going on.
No. I just wanted to say, put up that comment that just went up. I think that's directed to Miriam.
That's my good friend Viz. Thanks for watching.
There you go.
Thank you
so much for watching. We appreciate it, and that's why we wanted to do this episode, because again, everyone is this movie exactly. It's just all over the place. So we're gonna dive deep. We're gonna get into it, nitty and gritty. Let's go.
This movie was one of the first victims of We Want to Be Marvel. You saw it from the Dark Universe. You see it from The Conjuring. You see it from a bunch of these different shared universe things, even Split and Glass and Unbreakable. Oh, boy, Anthony's in the chat saying we're all
Anthony's in the chat, too.
Anthony, leave the chat.
Put him up.
I love you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Y'all are so wrong. Me and Anthony go at it all the time. Don't.
Tim's with you, Miriam.
Tim's with you.
I think this franchise suffered from We Want to Be Marvel, because you start out great with Man of Steel, which I think is a decent, pretty good movie. I really enjoy Man of Steel.
It's still my favorite DCU. Just letting you know, I love Man of Steel.
It's like I love Man of Steel. Love Man of Steel.
Absolutely.
We'll get to that discussion.
Go, Kyle. Go, Kyle.
We'll get there. Trust me. Go, Kyle. This is probably gonna be like a quick little DCEU
review.
So we get like Iron Man, we get Man of Steel, a great starts to these universes, and then Marvel slowly but methodically built up their characters to where we finally got Avengers, and then we are where we are today. DC felt like, let's just skip everything and make Batman and Superman fight each other right away. And then this is what pissed me off. So you're going to build up Batman versus Superman. It's called Batman v Superman, which makes no sense because it's not a court case. It should be Batman versus Superman, not Batman v Superman. Whatever. You make us wait.
There's courtroom scene.
Okay. You make us wait 2 hours and 15 minutes to see them actually fight. Then they fight for 5 minutes and it ends. Why? Because their moms share the same name. And I just want to get right into this discussion right now. I enjoyed this film until this moment. I've never seen a momentum killer quite like this in any movie ever. That Martha moment is so bad. It makes me want to puke every single time I watch it. It's like
you're right. It's so
something that's so dumb, because that fight is awesome. I really like the fight that they finally have with each other. And then he's got his foot on his neck and says, "Save Martha." And it's like, if you were a writer and you pitched that in a writer's room, you would be laughed out. Oh, they would hate you for that. What if they stopped fighting because their moms share the same name? What? That's brilliant. Let's put it in the movie. And they actually did. And it's so bad.
That's what happened. That's honestly what happened. So
Go for it,
I'm right there with you. Let me give you a quick little history of Batman vs Superman with me. Saw this movie opening night, Thursday, whatever. They didn't get a screener for it. But I had already heard the word of mouth that the movie wasn't that good. I went in there, I'm like, there's no way, based off this trailer, right, that this movie is that bad, because the trailer was so promising. This is despite because I was super pissed off that they showed Doomsday in the trailer, because I'm like, that is such a crucial moment in the film. So I already know who the big bad is, right? I don't want to see that. I want to be surprised in the theater. And I felt like that would have been more effective had they not shown that in the fucking trailer, right? So I'm watching the movie opening night, and I'm like, this movie is so choppy, because it's like here, then there, and here, then there, and it wanted to be like 19 movies in one, right? Comic books, right? So there was a lot of storylines that they were like, oh, this is good, oh, this is good, oh, this is good, and we're gonna put it all in a film, and voila, people are gonna love it because it's gonna have everything from everything. And I'm like, no, this fucking movie sucked. This is when I saw it in the theater. Not that I didn't hate it, but I hated it. You know, it wasn't like, but I'm like, eh. So fast forward to the ultimate cut, which is what I saw now, right? I had never seen the full ultimate cut, which again, I know just based looking off Kyle right now that it's not gonna fix the movie that much more. My main issue with Batman versus Superman was the fact that it had so many plot holes and the movie did not flow well, where I was like, all right, well, this is going this way, and then all of a sudden it was answered in the next scene. You're like, what are you doing? You can tell that there was a lot of editing issues with this movie, right? I feel that the ultimate cut does fix that. Now, going back with Kyle, I'm just going to say it out there. I don't hate this movie. And especially now, after seeing it right now, I appreciate it a lot more. I feel that this movie is great. And I'm using the word great. It is a great film until the fight. Now, I timed the fight today. It is not 5 minutes. It is 13 minutes and like 20 something seconds.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. No. I'm telling you, it's there.
Where'd you start it and where'd you end the fight?
How many minutes was Batman? How many minutes was Batman fighting? Tell me that too.
Yes.
Can you tell me that?
No, it's honest. It's 13 minutes. The fight lasts 13 minutes. I was making sure because I said the same thing originally, where I'm like, you can't call a movie fucking Batman versus Superman when they fight for 2 seconds. Like,
True.
what the fuck? Everything I promise you, Kyle, everything that you said today was exactly how I felt walking out of this movie in the theater, where I was so upset. And the Martha thing, still I like super eye rolled today, where I was like, why did they keep this decision? It is the dumbest shit ever. Dumbest shit ever for me.
It's not like Batman has a moment where he kneels down to him. He's like, I'm sorry, I lost my mother.
Nothing. It's just like, why didn't you say the name? And then it's like, oh, okay, we're good now. And tosses a spear. And he's like, I promise you, Martha's not dying today. I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? But again,
you wanted to murder this guy.
The build up, and I say this a million times, I think that Jesse Eisenberg was in a different movie. He was what they gave him, and we all know that he's a phenomenal actor because again, we literally reviewed The Social Network a couple weeks ago, where we said that he's literally in one of the best films of the decade, right? Or the best film of the decade. It could be argued that it was one or two, right? So I feel like he's an amazing actor, but he sucked as Lex. He was the Riddler, in my opinion. Had they given him the Riddler role, I would have been a lot happier. He just was too. He wasn't what I was used to, or what I'm used to reading or seeing on film. He wasn't. Again, the best Lex Luthor for me is still Gene Hackman. As much as I hate Superman Returns, the only positive that I can give that movie is how great Kevin Spacey was, because I loved him in that movie. But every time that I would see a scene with Jesse Eisenberg, I'm just like, I don't care. But it sounds like I don't like this movie, but I promise you I do. I felt that the beginning, right? The whole Batman, that scene with him and Alfred, where he's like, if we have an ounce of chance to make this happen, to stop him, because again, he's so used to everybody, and he kind of mentions like what happens to Two-Face. He's like, oh, he's good until he's not. They kind of have those little clues, and then the Joker has already been around. He already lost one Robin, because you see the suit with the Joker. With that was Jason Todd Joker. Right?
Your dog hates this movie too.
Wait, but then I have to tell my background story, because this was very disappointing for me, right? Well, I hope Jader can hear me with his headphones. But I was disappointed in this movie because I was at Comic-Con when this trailer premiered, Right. I was at Comic-Con, and the big news was this movie, Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice, right? It's Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, and everybody else, right? Gal Gadot, right? Everyone was out in this freaking movie, right? Yes. And we're so stoked. We see this trailer. This trailer looked so amazing, right? Like Jesse's Lex Luthor looked, oh, wow. We were like, okay, this is exciting. This is stoked. I also went to opening night. I was interning at the time. I wasn't allowed to go to screeners or whatever, so I wouldn't even know. But everyone's psyched. Everyone's excited to be there. And then I see this freaking movie, and I go out and I'm like, what? What's happening? Like, what did I just watch? Mm-hmm. It was disappointing for me because Batman's my favorite, right? Superman's not my favorite hero, and I might start something in the chat, but he's not, right? I loved Man of Steel, and that's why I'm super excited to see this Superman, Henry Cavill versus Ben Affleck, but I don't know. Like Jader said, this was very choppy in the beginning. The movie was all over the place the first half. Yes, the fighting was entertaining until that Martha conversation. And I was like,
it's such a momentum killer. It really is, because I feel like I need to step in here a little bit. I don't hate this movie either. I think that moment is so bad that it just sours me on everything I already watched. Because if you think about beat by beat, I love the opening of seeing Batman within the events of Man of Steel, running through the city and trying to save everyone. I like the dinner party where Batman and Superman first meet, and I really like Batman trying to steal the kryptonite from the Thing, and they first meet each other for in their suits for the first time. Do you bleed? You will. The council meeting, all this stuff.
Oh yeah, that was. I think that's where it was going up, right? Like that courtroom scene. I was like, whoa, okay, great. I forgot her name.
Amy Adams.
It was it Amy Adams, but the judge or like all of that. That's a momentum, right? And then you're getting into this fight, and you're like, oh shit, they're gonna get to it, you know? Batman versus Superman. Great, wonderful. Then you're gonna give me a Martha name? What the fuck? Oh, because what the fuck? First of all, also that was very genius. I'm like, oh right. But then I'm like, no, not here, not now, you know?
I'm like, well, how come no one's pointed it out before? Then I say, oh right, because it's dumb. Like it's just it's dumb. I feel like I gotta step in here and defend Jesse Eisenberg for a second, because I know he's like the #1 most hated person in this film. I don't hate him because I
don't hate him either.
Oh really? Okay, so
I don't hate him in this movie.
Because I think he says that he's the son of Lex Luthor. So he's technically Alexander Luthor, not the Lex Luthor that we know. But he's a genius that's on another IQ level. So he's very peculiar. He's different. He doesn't fit in with the normal crowd. So when he's seeing these things, he's thinking on another level than most other people. So that's why he seems so abnormal to everything else we're seeing. He's a little quirky. He can't get out his sentences too well, but he's trying to convey something. And really, his plan's super confusing and relies on a lot of coincidences to happen. But it all works out for him. And when he's sitting there saying, you know, hey, I didn't tell them where to put Martha. If you kill me, they're going to kill her. And if you don't kill the Bat, they're going to kill her too. I think he's actually fine in this movie. I don't think he's great. I'm not gonna beat him up, but I know a lot of people really hate him. Miriam, you don't hate him either, right?
I don't hate him either. You know, in the trailer, that line where the devils don't come from the ground, they come from the sky, right?
Yeah.
That scene was solid. You know, I think he's a phenomenal actor. I'm a big fan of Jesse Eisenberg. And they were trying to go somewhere with Lex, right? With this Lex. They were trying. Even in the end, you know, where whatever, he's like he's whatever, right? Whatever at this point, because I'm like so lost for words because of this damn Martha.
Where he goes
scene.
ding 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 ding.
Yeah, so I'm like they had, until this day I really do think so. I would love for them to bring that Lex somewhere in this new DCEU. I don't know how or where, but honestly, I don't hate him. I don't hate him in this movie. The writing did him wrong. Jader.
Anthony.
Oh, no, Anthony?
Absolutely, yeah.
What did Anthony say? I can't see the chat.
He was saying that he was a great actor.
He
wrote
plays the same. Okay, Anthony, enlighten me into that little comment of yours. How does he play the same character in every movie? Because I'm pretty sure Mark Zuckerberg is not Lex Luthor. I mean, I don't know. Can like someone enlighten me, Anthony? You see me and Anthony get like this with Star Wars movies. Let's just not get started there.
I want to address one other thing that really bothers me in this movie. How come Gotham City and Metropolis are right across the river from each other? Like
they're like it's like saying Kendall, Miami Beach, bro. We're right there.
It's like how come Superman's never known about the Batman until he started working there? If they're right across the river, like how come Superman has never gone over there to help them fight the Joker and and Two-Face and the Penguin we hear all about? But how come Batman? Where was Batman just flying over in his helicopter when Zod was attacking? It's so coincidental to have two major cities right across the river from each other. It makes no sense at all. So that kind of, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but it's just something that always stuck in my mind watching it, saying, wait, I don't think it's ever been that way.
It didn't stick to my mind until I saw it today, where I was like, they're that close to each other. Like, again, I saw this movie in theater, then I tried to watch it at home again, and I never really did. I saw like pieces of it. Like I would see the important parts. Like it would be playing. I'd leave. I'd come back. I'm like, all right, I'll sit down for like, 15, 20 minutes, get up, do whatever, and then come back. I never saw it in full until I saw it today. Completely did not sit. I saw 30 minutes last night, and then I saw the rest of the 2.5 hours because this movie is 3 hours long.
So long.
It is a very long film.
But the original one is long too, and that's why I was like, wow, I just wasted 2 hours and something of my life watching this movie. But you're absolutely right on that. It's funny because in the DC TV, they're making like a Star City, Starling City, and what's that city that Flash is in? I forgot.
Central.
Yeah, Central City, Star City, Gotham City, and Metropolis are all super far, right? Like, okay, West Coast, East Coast, whatever. And in this movie, I know they're two different things, but in that spectrum, it makes sense in this TV universe. Okay, that's why they're not clashing a lot. And then here you're like, oh, they're across the street, or just across the river or something. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Who's writing this? I'm like, who is in that production team that we need to talk to? And like, I don't know. And also to point out, this theatrical version, I am not a fan of it because it just doesn't, I think I side with Kyle here. There is not much you can do, like, I didn't see. I find little minor things kind of flowed, whatever. Is this going to be every Zack Snyder movie that comes out in DC? Like, what the hell? Like, now with Justice League, also the director's cut. Don't even get me started on that movie.
Well, okay, so it's funny. I figured we were going to touch that subject. I feel like this movie just again. I figured you didn't see that. You were reviewing the theatrical cut, Miriam?
Me? I did not watch the theatrical cut. I watched this godforsaken movie that I hate very much.
Well, you saw the ultimate or the theatrical? The ultimate was the one that got released on Blu-ray.
I saw the theatrical, but not the.
Okay, so one. Again, was a long film, but again, it cuts from like 220 to 3 hours long. So there's a lot of gaps that they fill. My main thing about this movie is that a lot of those gaps, and again, it just narrative flows better, a lot better with the ultimate cut, right? I feel like you don't get much action, which I'm fine with. I don't need explosions every 2 minutes. Those little things that you don't think you need, you do, right? This movie answered a lot of it has more Clark Kent than anything. Like, it has way more, which my original, and again, me being the Batman fan that I am, my complaint was, I'm like, this movie's called Batman versus Superman, but I just feel like Snyder wanted to make a Superman film. I mean, a Batman film. We didn't get enough Superman in the movie, right? In this one, he does it in the director's cut. That's what I'm just gonna call it, the director's cut. He doesn't add more Superman, but he definitely adds more Clark Kent. And there's a lot of the pre-trial things that happen that fills gaps. We see a death that doesn't happen in the original, when the original was like, oh yeah, well, this person died too. And in this one, you actually see how the person, which, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, like, oh, by the way, yeah, they're dead.
yeah, pretty much. Exactly. So in this one, you're like, oh, okay, so this is how it happens, right? And again, you get a lot of you get the scene where Batman steals a kryptonite. You don't really get an in-depth thing. It happened. He has a kryptonite all of a sudden. In this one, you see how it happens. So again, it helps the narrative more, where it doesn't look like an idiot was editing this fucking movie, because that's exactly what happened originally.
Well, the original film was 4 hours long. That's another stat I read about.
Correct. Yes. Very
4
true.
hours.
Christ.
But let me point this out. So, like, we usually have a category called interesting details. Let me point this out. Superman, who is a headline character in this movie, has 42 lines of dialogue. Spider-Man and Captain America Civil War has more lines of dialogue in that movie than Superman does in a movie called Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. That should just tell you everything you need to know. And it shows you, like, I brought something along with me. I brought the movie, all right? It shows you how much they really didn't care about Superman when they put Wonder Woman in the center frame of the Blu-ray. That's a problem to me. And Wonder Woman did steal the movie, absolutely. But it's not called Batman versus Wonder Woman versus Superman. It's called Batman versus Superman. We'll get to Wonder Woman down the line because I think she's definitely a bright spot for this. But we're almost an hour in, guys. Anything else you want to say before we jump into the categories?
Again, no. I felt like the ultimate cut it is the better version of this film. It sucks because a lot of people are so turned off by what they saw in the theater, Exhibit A over here, where she's like, I don't need to fucking watch this movie again. No, and again, I feel like it does help. Like, it sucks because you can tell like this is probably what Snyder wanted to release, and they were like, it's too long, you can't do this, we got to chop it up, and we got what we got, right? Even though it is essentially a better film, it does help. It does help. It made me from, again, not really liking this movie to like not tolerating it. I feel like now this movie's underrated. Like, personally how I feel. And this is like, again, going into the third act is still an issue. It's still a problem. And it's mostly the Martha line, to be completely honest with you. Because again, the movie could have been as long as it is. We got the fight that we did, but them breaking up that fight so quick. And I said this when the movie first came out. It was like watching Step Brothers when they finally realized, are we best friends? Yeah. High five. That's exactly what happened. Your mom's named Martha too? Awesome. And let's go, battle crime together. And it was just so forgotten so quick. Exactly. So it's one of those things where, again, I don't think, and again, I'm watching this film and I'm like, man, I remember disliking, and I don't know if it's just, it really contrasts Marvel to where Marvel's always happy-go-lucky, with the exception of Endgame and Infinity War. But it's always happy, happy, happy. Some shit goes down, but then we're happy again. And this movie is a very, very somber film throughout. From beginning to end. Go ahead.
No, go finish because I have a question.
No. Yeah. So from beginning to end, it's very somber, and we know, and we kind of got that element from Man of Steel. Yeah. So Man of Steel was kind of the same way. We already know that the DCU was trying to go a very serious route. So it is what it is. It is what we got. But again, watching it this time, I'm like, man, like, I feel like people should watch this cut to like, again, it goes from, for me at least, it went from like a 6-7 to like an 8. The only real issue that I really have with this movie is the third act, which happens to be the trend with DCEU. But I'm telling you, that third act, I feel like this is a strong film. Again, the movie is 3 hours long, but it's about the 2 hour and like 10-minute mark where they kind of like, it lost me from being something that could have been great. And again, I don't need explosion and fighting every 2 minutes. Give me a cohesive, solid story, which, again, this film got bumpy. Even with the director's cut, it does get better. But I was so intrigued. I'm like, man, why didn't I feel this way in the theater? And I don't know if my perspective just changed watching it this time, but I feel like overall it is a better film, with the exception of the actual fight, which is what we signed up for. The actual fight, and then once they got over that, the ending is fine. Again, I felt like it would have been more impactful had they saved Doomsday for the theater and not, throw it in the third trailer. Which, because of that film, I don't watch third trailers. I watch a teaser and I watch the first trailer, and I stop right after that because I don't want to know anymore. Like, if I'm sold by the first trailer, that's all I need to see. And I felt like Batman versus Superman, if you go back and watch the trailers, the first trailer didn't give away the big bad at the end. It wasn't until the third trailer, which was on Kimmel, where I was like, why did they show me this shit? Like, I was already signed in, and everybody else knows we're already signed in. Why did you got to show that? And I felt like that really hurt them,
So anyway. I have a question. Okay. I have a question. See, this is a trend I'm seeing now. You have not seen a theatrical director's cut, ultimate edition, whatever the fuck you want to call it, in Marvel, right? Zack Snyder, correct me if I'm wrong. This is what, his second film with the DCEU, right?
Yeah.
The second film. Justice League. Now it's getting its own.
If you want to get technical, it's 3, but 2.
No,
sure.
Because
she's talking about Batman vs Superman. That was the second movie he put out.
Yeah.
No, right. I understand that. No, but Watchmen is technically got
Get out of here. Stop
DC
it. Stop.
now.
Now you're being DC now. Nitty gritty.
Stop saying technical, woman.
Nerd.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying this is that you would think, well, this was the first Ultimate Edition, right? You would think, and this is why it's leading to my question: what happened at DC? I'm not trashing DC. I love DC. Don't get me wrong. What happened at DC and Warner Brothers that they said, okay, this movie is great, made Justice League, became the trash that it was. Still, till this day, Justice League is the worst DC movie of all time.
Money.
Second.
Right.
But yes,
right.
I'm there with you.
Money's the answer to your question. It's they like the executives like the movie.
Corporate greed.
It did not.
And you know what?
Avengers money. That was the biggest thing.
Tim, let me tell you. Tim brought up a good point right there. I don't know. You want to see that the second to last comment now. Where he wrote the fact that Lex Luthor knows everyone's identity doesn't bother anyone. Yes,
it doesn't bother me too much.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. To be completely honest with you, I hated that. I was like, since when does this happen? And again, it was something that I really didn't notice until today for some reason. Again, this movie came out in 2016. Obama was still president when this movie came out, right? So. It's been a while, and I forgot a lot. Again, like when you see a movie, it's the major scenes that you're gonna grasp, and you're gonna grasp little things here and there. Overall, if I see a movie once, I'm like this, like it'll stay in there, right?
I had no feeling with this. I was like,
I completely forgot that he knew who Batman was, and he knew because he was sending them those when that guy Wally was in the courtroom scene where the guy blows up and all that, and Bruce was sending him the checks, and they were coming back with Lex like teasing Bruce, and I was like, how the fuck does he know that Bruce is Batman? Or you know.
I mean, it's one of those suspensions of disbelief, like how it doesn't make sense that no one knows Clark Kent is Superman, even all he does is put on glasses. Like it's just one of those things that you kind of have to let go. Whatever. Okay, that's just the way it is. Back to Miriam's question. Money is really what changed the future of the DCEU.
I got no respect, though. Sorry to me.
No, it didn't. I mean, what happened was it did not make Avengers money, which is what they were going for. So they said, well, people are saying it's too dark and too dreary. So now let's mix up Suicide Squad real quick and make that a happier film. And that didn't work. And then Wonder Woman comes out, and they kind of they didn't care about it to mess with it too much, and it made a lot of money. It did well. So like, all right, let's cut up Justice League to look like Wonder Woman. And then that movie I think that's the worst one they've ever put out as Justice League.
I agree.
So,
worse than Suicide Squad?
I think it's worse than Suicide
Squad. I feel like it has more redeeming qualities than Suicide Squad, man.
Justice League is the worst movie ever.
Yep. I'll watch Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and Will Smith as Deadshot any day over what they did with Justice League, because that movie was just a complete rush to get to the final countdown of Avengers like they did, and it's so bad. It just and especially with everything that's coming out now with Ray Fisher and what's his name, Jason Momoa saying how all the bad behind the scenes stuff that happened, it just sours me on the movie really bad. Like I was prepared to go back and just rewatch it today just to prepare more for this, and I didn't want to. I just stopped after a while. I said, no,
I honestly wanted to after, but again, I don't have time. But I wanted to watch Justice League because I remember I haven't seen Justice League since the theater. It's a movie that I don't feel like I need to watch again. I saw it once, and I'm like,
"Is it the worst one of DC though? Is it the worst?"
No, I didn't think so. When I walked out of the theater, I honestly walked out of the theater. I'm like, all right, I didn't. You know what I hated, and I'll tell you flat out, I hated Batman's portrayal in that movie. I hated how they treated my boy. They literally left him like a redheaded stepchild. No offense to you gingers out there, but they left him outside to forget, and they treated him like such a bitch when he's not. Again, granted, they have the metahumans and you're Steppenwolf and all that, and Batman is just a guy with a suit with fucking lots of money. I get that.
Oh my lord!
But, no. You know what? Another thing.
Stop this conversation right now. Another
thing that was in the Ultimate Cut is that they teased Steppenwolf. That wasn't in the original Batman vs Superman. At the end, when they're gonna grab Lex Luthor, you see Steppenwolf with the mother boxes. That was not in the original cut. I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. That little like teaser.
Sense. It doesn't make sense. Huh? It doesn't make sense because what does he do in Justice League? He's trying to gather the boxes, and then when I see him in Batman vs Superman, he has the boxes. So I
don't have to remember because he has. If you count I think he has like 2 or 3 boxes though. He doesn't have all of them. So I don't know how many he goes to get.
I saw there was 3 boxes signed. And one more thing doesn't make sense because we really got to jump in these categories. They take the bold swing of killing Superman, and then at the end they show the dirt rising up at the end, right? And then we get to Justice League, and they got to go through this whole process to bring him back to life in the first place. So the ending of Batman
stupid. I'm sorry.
Doesn't make sense.
The death is so stupid. It's so stupid. I hate this movie.
I agree with you with the dirt rising up. They should have just left it at that. A somber film. We don't know what's coming back. We all knew he was coming back, especially if this is a Justice League film. It's a given. I understand. I felt like they killed him off too early. Again, they were grabbing like Earth of Two Crisis. They were grabbing the death of Superman. They were just grabbing the Dark Knight Rises, the Dark Knight Returns. They were grabbing storyboards from everywhere. Like I said in the beginning of the show.
They saw the dream sequences.
Injustice in the dream sequences. So that all happens, right? So I get that. Now, that was one of the things for me. So at the ending, again, walking out of the theater, I'm like, well, that's stupid. We know Superman's coming back. And the thing is, now when you see the Justice League, they're still going through shit where they're like, no, he's dead and we can't bring him back. Like, what was this then? So again, agree with you 100%. Had they not gotten like the dirt to like semi-rise right before it cuts to black, acceptable. But the fact that they did that bothers me, and it still bothers me till today. So good bringing that up.
All right, let's get to the categories here. First one, best scene. What is the best scene in this movie that Miriam absolutely hates, that I'm kind of more towards the hate side and Jader loves? This is going to be a fun discussion. I'm going to go first.
Not loves, man. I just like it. I don't think it's as bad as everybody's saying it is. That's all I'm saying. I don't love it. Like it. I feel like it's a little underrated right now.
I'm going to throw out here. I told you guys before, I really like the fight itself. I do. I think the fight, I'll watch that fight every time it's on TV. I love seeing where Superman finally shows up. He's trying to convince Batman to be on his side and help him go find his mom. And Batman's just not having it. So, I mean, when you look back, who actually won the fight? Technically, it's Batman, but Superman could have killed him at any time he wanted to. So that's the difference. But it shows how smart Batman is by, creating those gas kryptonite things and slowing him down. And then seeing when Superman throws that punch and Batman blocks it, and you're like, oh, it just got real. This is going to be so much fun. And Batman actually throws the kitchen sink at Superman and takes him out. I think that's so cool, which is why it sucks that it ends so badly. So I think that's my favorite scene in the movie up to that point. Miriam, what is your call for this?
So I was going to agree with you. I love that fight scene. That fight scene was, I think, this is a Batman movie, right? So really I absolutely, aside from the fight, it's meeting Ben Affleck's Batman for the first time. This was the first time we've seen Ben, in that Bruce Wayne mode, and seeing him kind of own that role for the first time. I was very impressed. That I loved that. I loved the courtroom scene, with Superman. There's just, I feel like I have those top 3 scenes in my head because they're pivotal in the movie. This is Superman trying to, stick up for himself or whatever, and the fight scene. This is why it's called Batman versus Superman. You teased it in the trailer. Let's see the fight. Martha. That killed it for me. So, but I think ultimately, and I think I would say this, I love Ben Affleck as Batman. So every scene he was in, I loved. The more I saw Ben Affleck be Bruce Wayne / Batman, I was like, I was never one of the haters. I thought he was going to be the best Batman, and he clearly did. It's a shame that he's no longer, going to be a part of it, but I loved it.
He is.
Yeah, he
well,
is.
In the sense of a standalone and all that good stuff, but whatever. It is what
Jader, what do you got for your favorite scene?
The fight scene is actually my favorite. So to just change it up, we'll go with my second favorite scene, and it's the warehouse scene where we see Batman kick ass and take names. That for me solidified Batfleck as not the greatest, but a great Batman. I was loving him throughout the film. I was loving him so much as Bruce Wayne. I didn't need to see him on the suit too much.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that made this shit so clear that Snyder does not give a fuck what fans think, because you know the one of the main complaints that we got from Man of Steel was the fact that that Kal kills General Zod at the end, because it's something that Superman would never do. And then he's like, whatever. In my world, these guys have to kill. And again, you know, Superman was put in a position where it was between that or having a family get, you know, his morals versus having an innocent family get killed. So it needed to be done. Batman gives zero fucks in this movie because he kills multiple people. You're going to tell me that people are just badly hurt after, you know, him crashing the tumbler or whatever the hell you want to call the Batmobile in this car. Against a truck, and him shooting the guys in the miniguns and exploding them and branding. It's just, he just doesn't care. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having a gritty Batman. So that warehouse scene where he goes and saves Martha. I can't even use quotation. It is Martha, but you know, mom. I feel I love that scene. It honestly in the theater was kind of one of those like, all right, you know what? Like, not that it redeemed itself because the movie didn't in the theater, but I'm like, this is the Batman that I came to see. I wanted to see some kick-ass fighting, man, and he did what Batman does. So I absolutely love that scene. My main pick is the fight. You know, what we, you know, paid our $20, $18, whatever the hell it was back in the day to go see. We got that. It was short-lived again, but can you even think about a fight being like a 30-minute long fight? Like, you know, it wasn't going to happen. So what we did get with the Batman versus Superman fight, I like, but if I have to pick something else just to, you know, talk about it, it has to be the warehouse scene for me.
I want to give a special shout out to the opening scene where Batman sees everything that happened during Man of Steel. I think that was my runner up because it perfectly sets up his motivation for the rest of the film for why I want to kill Superman, because he's just causing so much destruction, which was everyone's main complaint about Man of Steel. So I like how they kind of turn it to a plot point here, set up the rest of the film. Tim's comment here saying that Batman Warehouse is the best scene in the entire EU. Tim, you have not seen Harley Quinn do cocaine yet, so we are moving on.
Oh boy.
Best line. Jader, start with you here, man. What is the best line?
Don't start with me.
Miriam, what is your best line?
There you go.
That's fine. The "Tell me, do you bleed? You will." I actually love that line so much because, you know, that's where it starts it. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Buckle up. And then I didn't know it was buckling up for destruction. But yes, yeah. I love that line so much. I loved it in the trailer. I loved it in the movie. That's it.
Well, because Superman confronts him right there. They're face to face. And he's like, you know, don't go next time they shine your line in the sky. And Batman's just like,
that whole confrontation. Yes.
He's like, fuck you. Tell me, do you bleed? Like, I'm coming for you, man. I like that moment too. I'll go.
One of just to touch on that scene very quick. One of my favorite things in this movie is honestly right before that is where Batman is doing that sharp turn and Superman is just standing there and the Batmobile, boom, and Superman doesn't even flinch. Such a badass moment.
Really cool. Yeah,
it's such a badass moment. Yeah. So go ahead.
Okay, mine is a line from Batman, and is when he's about to kill Superman, and he says, "I bet your parents taught you that you mean something, that you're here for a reason. My parents taught me a different lesson, dying in the gutter for no reason at all. They taught me the world only makes sense if you force it to." That's a really cool line because it shows how Batman was so damaged by the death of his parents when he was a kid that he's decided that I need to stop every criminal out there who could cause destruction to someone else, destruction to the city, to me, to their families, whatever it may be. So it really sets up how if he sees someone who he thinks is above everyone else, I have to take them down. And that just happens to be Superman. So I really like that line. Jade, are you ready yet?
Yeah, so that's the thing. I had like 3 Batman quotes. They were all from Batman, and I have one Lex Luthor one, which is it's a back and forth with him and Lois Lane, where she's like, "You're psychotic." He goes a 3-syllable word for any thought, So that, but it's a very popular line. But I also love the where he goes, "Man is still good. We fight, we kill, we betray one another. We can rebuild, we can do better. We have to." I think it's such a powerful power. And again, I think Bruce Wayne has like the best lines in this movie, because he also has one where he tells Alfred, he goes,
Superman has 13 lines.
Well, that's true. But he also had, there's again, the other one that I wrote was, "Criminals are like weeds, Alfred. We pull one, another one grows in its place." And it's something that just reoccurs in Gotham over and over again. Another one that he where he tells them, "We're criminals, Alfred. We've always been criminals. Nothing's ever changed." So I can't pick a favorite one, because it's Batman, man. Everything he says is badass. But those are the ones that I had. That's why I said I was just gonna pick one, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna say all three. Like, it is what it is.
I got a couple of casting what ifs here. A favorite of the show for a lot of people. Jeffrey Dean Morgan was originally considered for Batman as well, but after his audition, they decided to give him Thomas Wayne, which didn't work out the way he wanted it to, but it is what it is. I got the studio, Warner Brothers, actually, after watching Cloud Atlas, wanted Tom Hanks for Lex Luthor. Apparently, they couldn't get him, but I think that would have been amazing to see Tom Hanks do a villain role.
As a villain?
Yeah. Oh, that would be fantastic.
I wouldn't rule that out. I wouldn't rule that out, because Tom Hanks can, he's a phenomenal actor. And to see him in a villain role, that would be so amazing. That would be so amazing.
I got a directing what if. Ben Affleck was offered to direct Man of Steel back in 2013 when that movie came out, which would have been interesting. Obviously, he got Batman after a while. He was offered the Batman movie.
Why didn't he take it? I figured like that's something he would just jump on.
He said
was he doing Gone Girl?
He wasn't experienced enough in visual effects shooting, which that was his biggest problem at the time. Which he had just done The Town before that, and he was looking at next being what came out?
Gone Girl. I was like, he was doing Gone.
No, he acted.
Argo.
Yeah, he
Argo. Right.
Argo.
I got a couple more here. Matt Damon, Bradley Cooper, Joaquin Phoenix, and Adam Driver were all considered for the role of Lex Luthor, which I know a lot of people would have just preferred any one of them over Jesse Eisenberg, which sucks because those are all terrific actors, but I have respect for Eisenberg.
Same.
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton was considered for Alfred. I think Jeremy Irons is one of the unsung heroes of this movie.
No, I love Jeremy Irons in this film, man. I honestly do. So, no.
It's funny because Michael Caine was top tier Alfred. And then when I see Irons, I'm like, okay, all right, cool. All right, we can keep him.
Yeah.
And I really like how they have Andy Serkis coming up for Robert Pattinson's Batman. That's going to be interesting to see.
Yes, I agree. Same.
2 more. Michael B. Jordan was considered for the role of Cyborg, but they ultimately went with Ray Fisher. I'm sure they are kicking themselves so hard right now with the way that Ray Fisher has them in a media frenzy. I'm on Ray Fisher's side in all this based on all the evidence I've seen. There's a lot of controversy going on with that right now, but if they would have had Michael B. Jordan, I think things might have been different. But who knows how that turns out for his career, too. We don't get him as Killmonger. So it is what it is. And then finally,
I see when you just said that right now, I'm like, thank God he didn't do it, dude.
Yes.
Right.
Thank God. And he's a phenomenal, and I'm sure he would have crushed as Cyborg.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't have gotten Killmonger, and I can't live in a world where Michael B. Jordan's not Killmonger.
Exactly. And he probably wouldn't have done Fantastic either. So
true. That's Human Torch.
I got one more. Scott Adkins and Joe Manganiello were considered for the role of Batman. Obviously, they didn't get it. Joe Manganiello was eventually cast as Deathstroke. He's probably so pissed off right now at the way the DC went. Like, where is his movie where he was supposed to be the villain in Ben Affleck's Batman movie?
That is so unfortunate because I was so stoked to see Joe as Deathstroke. Like, what? Like, what's the guy's name from Arrow? Because I'm a huge Arrow fan. Like before the season.
Jader, you know who this is, right? Because I never watched Arrow.
Fuck, I forgot. He's an Australian guy, but whatever.
Who was it?
Who plays Deathstroke?
Who plays who?
Deathstroke on Arrow.
Somebody in the chat, please save me.
I don't do TV, bro.
Oh crap! You know what? I'm gonna Google it. Please.
We gotta figure it out. But yeah, I remember that end scene in Justice League after the credits. It sets up something that's never going to happen, and that's the worst. It's such a tease, and I know fans are going to be so upset about that.
Manu Bennett. Manu
Bennett, yes. Okay.
Amazing Deathstroke. Great Deathstroke.
All right. The Mahershala Ali Award for Best Sharpshooter. To me, this is easy. This is an easy category. This goes to Gal Gadot. She's in barely any scenes, and she steals every single moment she's in this film. When we first see her in that red dress at the party, the dinner party that's going on, she has this kind of force to her. You see her looking around what Batman's doing, or Bruce Wayne's doing, and follows him downstairs, and then steals the drive from him. And then every moment after that, when she shows up in that fight to stop Batman from being killed, and then in the fight she has this smirk on her face every time she gets hit or throws a punch or something. It's really cool, and she was the one everybody was talking about coming out of this film. I can't wait for Wonder Woman, and that film was amazing. So I think Gal Gadot easily wins this award. But Jader, I want to hear you, man. Who is the Mahershala Ali Award for Best Sharpshooter?
So I had Gal, but I had somebody else just in case someone was going to pick Gal just to shine light on this person. I love Lawrence Fishburne. I thought his problem. Okay, so I love Lawrence Fishburne and Jeremy Irons. Those are the three that I wrote down. I wrote Gal, Lawrence, and Jeremy Irons just in case you guys were gonna pick. I was gonna jump to somebody else just to shine a little light on them. Gal is my choice, but I love Lawrence because he again in such a dark film, and you always just need a little bit of light. You really do. Like I have not an issue, but when a movie again that is based on comic books and this and that where it's supposed to be fun, kind of takes out the fun. You do want to laugh a little, and I feel like his lines were like sharpshooter lines. He goes in there and he kind of gives you the 1-2 punch, and then it's like all right back, and then he comes back, and then he gives you that. So Kyle completely disagrees with me, but you know what? Fuck it, I stand by it.
I think he's just there to wink at the camera. He calls Superman Smallville. He says, nobody cares about Clark Kent taking on the Batman. Meanwhile, the audience is like, we do. We care about that. So that's why I think he was really regal in Man of Steel. And in this movie, it's just like, have some fun, Lawrence Fishburne. You get to say all the fun lines from the comics that make people go, oh, I know what he's talking about. I didn't like him that much in this viewing. Miriam, who do you got for this?
I'm going to go with Gal because I am a Wonder Woman fan. And I was very excited when I heard that she was going to be in the movie and she was going to be introduced. Well, I had two sides to this. Yes, I was happy that she was going to be introduced in this film, but I also was not happy about this because, I felt like Wonder Woman could have been hold off a little longer, but DC wanted to do the Avengers real quick and wanted to put Gal and her Wonder Woman-ness in this movie, and the way she was introduced was wonderful. Like you said, that party scene and in way she's kicking ass, and like I just love it. I love it so much, and it made me so excited for Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman before Shazam was my #1 movie for DC. But yeah, no, I have to say Gal. I can't say anybody else because I would have said Amy Adams, but she did nothing.
I love Amy Adams. Yeah,
but she didn't.
No, I love her too. And this is not a knock towards Gal, but this is more the marketing team and all that. I hated the fact that we also saw Wonder Woman in the trailer. What a surprise that would have been, and not to that level, but close to Cap wielding the hammer. Like that crazy.
Wow,
if you have just shown Wonder Woman like right there without us knowing, like, okay, so you see Gal Gadot and you're like, oh, is it Diana? Is it not Diana? Like, had they not said like we have our Wonder Woman and this is it, right? But unfortunately, we live in the world where we it's like instant news where we're gonna get this shit. But imagine a world where we didn't live there, right? And then the big fight is happening, Doomsday gets created, all this shit. You go and then you just see Wonder Woman appear. You would have lost your shit. Unfortunately, when we saw this movie, you saw her in the trailer, we were expecting that already.
We saw her scenes.
We saw her scenes. So again,
True.
I was one of the ones that I got out of this movie and I was just like, man, that Wonder Woman show was awesome. I cannot wait to see a Wonder Woman movie because she was literally the standout of this film besides Affleck. Because Affleck, for me, again, really did it for me where I was just like, this guy is here to stay as Batman. He was fucking a great Bruce Wayne and he fucking kicked ass as Batman. with that one warehouse scene alone. You know,
it was unfortunate that this was Ben Affleck's first Batman's film, but then we get Gal Gadot, who kind of overpowered him a bit. You know, it's like that was my, like, I love Wonder Woman. It was just so, I love Batman more. He's my favorite DC superhero. So for me to see that, I'm just like, oh, but fine. Yeah. It's fine. I ended up loving Wonder Woman too, so it's good.
No, absolutely. Again, and it's not a knock towards her. It is the marketing team that I hated. Right. Hated the fact that they ruined that third act.
DC didn't know how to market this, right? Just really with Batman and Superman. Really they needed.
I feel like it would have saved the film from a lot of people because we were already expecting them. Okay, so the movie's called Batman versus Superman, and I guarantee you, had they not shown that, we're like, oh man, is it just gonna be that, or are we gonna get what have you? And I promise you, as much as we hate the Martha scene, just knowing that we were gonna get Doomsday, and we got Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, like it would have been slightly more forgiven, but it wasn't because again the trailer just ruined that for us. So that element of surprise was completely gone. Again, Marvel knows how to market their films, and again, it's always going to be a constant battle, right? Where it's going to be always going to be DC and Marvel, and I hate it because again, just like the console wars with Xbox and PlayStation, I'm like, hey, dude, I like I like Halo and Gears of War, and I like. And I like Spider-Man and God of War, dude. I like both consoles. I don't need to pick one, right? And this is the thing with me in the comics. I love Marvel and I love DC. There's just things that I grab from one and I grab from the other. And I feel that, again, not that I want to compare them, but the marketing team did not show Captain America wielding the hammer. Why? Because that was the biggest surprise in the film. Did we know that every single Avenger was going to come out? 100%. We knew that there was going to be some way that they were going to come out. Right?
It's interesting you say that because, they did it for Spider-Man with Civil War.
And I hated that. Because I would have lost my shit because Spider-Man is my Batman in Marvel, right? So I hated that they showed that in Marvel. But again, they showed you that it came out and they showed you nothing else. In this one, you see Wonder Woman doing, her thing and, wielding the sword. They show you a little bit more. In this one, they don't show you the quirkiness that Spider-Man has, the interaction with Winter Soldier and Falcon, and they don't show you Giant Man. Like, they don't show you any of that shit. Why? And I guarantee you, every single person right now here in the chat lost their shit when we saw Civil War, lost their shit when we saw Captain America with the hammer, because they don't give those things away, right? And that's something that I feel like, again, when it's a DC movie, I'll watch the teaser at this point, not to get like Shazam and Aquaman. I didn't see their trailers. I saw the teaser only, and I came out liking those movies a lot more, more than Kyle at least, because I know he didn't. I love Shazam. I love and you know what I loved about Shazam, that they didn't show anything from that movie personally. So I feel like the marketing team is what really, really, really hurt this film. Again. It's not the only. It's a flawed movie. It is a flawed film, but I feel like it's something that got hurt even more because of the marketing. I felt like things would have been forgiven had not a lot of things been shown because of that feeling that you would have gotten seeing Wonder Woman for the first time or seeing that Doomsday is the bad guy. It's just marketing really hurt this. Anyway,
the Bill Murray Award for Best Cameo. Miriam, I want to start with you on this one. Who's your favorite cameo in this film?
Bill Murray Award for Best Cameo?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. That's really good. Wow, interesting. You see, I would have said Gal also. Why not? Right? But we knew she was going to be in it. I'm just going to say Gal. Screw it. I'm going to just say Gal. Because she's a cameo. She really, take her out of this movie. It's still a cameo, right?
Yeah.
Who I don't know.
I think and Jader's going to take it right now.
I'm going to go with The Flash. I thought The Flash was a really, really cool cameo. Sorry, I'm going. I thought that was going to be the more obvious answer. And again, this is me going back, sitting in the movie theater, watching this thing. Again, something that they did not ruin. So the element of surprise was there. When he has that dream sequence, right? And you see the Flash, and he's telling them, Lois is the answer, this and that and that. I'm like,
right. I completely forgot about that.
Not expect seeing the Flash in this film. And then when you see the videos and you see the cameos of Cyborg, of Aquaman, Flash, that was a really, really cool scene. It was quick, but it gives you hope for something else. So Flash is going to be my answer because they had a little bit more Flasher over the other two characters.
I was expecting my answer to be the consensus one, but no one took it. Kevin Costner is my choice.
Oh right, I forgot about him.
Clark Kent's
was he in the original version though? Because I didn't remember.
Yes.
I didn't remember that scene.
Yes,
was
he
he?
was.
I didn't remember that scene
Farm.
whatsoever, and I'm like, is it? I thought that was part of the Ultimate Cut.
I thought this was the dream sequence. No, when he's talking about with Superman with Clark.
Yes, when Superman just decides I'm going to go trek the mountain, and he goes to the top. He sees his dad there, just tossing bricks, and has a nice little conversation with him. Because my favorite moment in Man of Steel is when Pa Kent dies. That giant tornado, and him saying, don't reveal yourself to the world, stay here, let me go. And he loses his father right there. So to be able to get one more moment with him in this film was a really nice moment of levity. And Kevin Costner's just always really good in these movies. So that's why I go with Costner. He's in one scene and he really knocks it out of the park. The Gary Oldman Everyone Award for Best Overacting. I've been waiting to rack on this guy for a while, because usually this is more of a praising one, but I need to hit this guy. The Russian dude named Callan Mulvey. I guess he's called KG Beast in the comics. The
KG Beast, yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's so bad because he acts so tough throughout the movie, and then he finally gets to talk right before he's about to die, and it doesn't work. He's like, I'll kill her. Like, drop it. And oh my gosh, I was rolling my eyes. Like, no wonder this man didn't have speaking parts until the end, because he was terrible. So I know everyone's gonna go with Jesse Eisenberg. Tim already did. Jader, go ahead and do it, man.
It's Jesse Eisenberg for me, man. I'm sorry.
I don't think he's overacting, though.
I don't think so either. But okay,
he's in a different movie, man. He was in a different movie. I'm sorry. I fucking hated him in this movie. I'm sorry for cursing, Poppy, but I cannot stand him in this movie. Every time that I watch it, because I like Eisenberg again, and it's one of these things I'm like, maybe I am just not catching it, and maybe this time I will do it. Again, like, I've seen the movie fully from beginning to end twice. Today was the second time that I did it, but I've seen parts of it over and over again. If it's on cable or whatever, and my boy's watching it, or I'm walking around the house and whatnot, like, I'll sit down and watch it. But from beginning to end, and every time that I see the movie, it annoys me. His character annoys. That scene where he stuffs the Jolly Rancher in the guy's mouth, it's just cringy. It's just everything about him, man. I really think he was in a different movie, and this is more 70% this, 30% compliment, because he's a good actor. But it's the one film with him where I'm just like, I'm not in it, man. I really don't like it. I didn't like him in this movie. I think he was miscasted. I feel like he was in a completely different movie than the tone of the film. Like, I just don't like him. So that's
right, Miriam.
I'm gonna go with Amy Adams, Lois Lane.
Wow.
She's right.
I hated her in this movie. She was either crying, she was moping, she was like Superman. I hated Amy Adams in this movie, Lois Lane. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just like, I can't,
okay. She ties in.
Can I defend her very quick?
Sure. Don't get me wrong, I love Amy Adams as Lois Lane. I love her as Lois Lane. In this particular movie, not good. It's
just like Batman in Justice League. I think it's what it was given to her. They kept giving her the damsel in distress when she's a stronger character, right? And we didn't. Sorry, I just read the comment, but by Anthony.
Go home, Miriam.
I think she was great, to be honest with you. And again,
let's be friends, Tim.
But I feel like, again, and given the Ultimate Cut that she gets a lot more scenes, I feel like she was a better Lois Lane. Mm-hmm. But they keep giving her the damsel in distress situations where Superman has to save her, where it gets annoying, where you're like, bitch, stay the fuck out of the way, man. Like, what are you doing?
I hated that.
So I feel like she was written poorly versus Amy Adams being that bad, you know? So I guess we could say the same thing. Yeah, I guess it's the same thing because Eisenberg is not a bad actor. He was just giving a shitty fucking. He was just miscasted, in my opinion.
It's the way they wrote her in this movie. I know in Man of Steel she did phenomenal. In this
awesome.
one, she's like
and
in
I have like a
What
soft spot for Amy Adams, where I like love her and everything. But yeah, I can see how you don't. It's just the way she was written. I feel like it was very.
It's the way she was written.
It wasn't Lois Lane for me.
Yeah, correct.
But as soon as you said it, it clicked for me. Because in the Martha moment where Batman's like, "Why did you say that name?" and she goes, "It's his mother's name." But we can all agree that the Russian dude is the worst actor in this movie. Oh my god. Couple interesting details. Ben Affleck gained 20 pounds of muscle for this movie, which that's a lot, for quite a bit. And he's also the tallest and biggest Batman we've ever had. He also met with Christian Bale after getting the part, and Bale kind of felt an attachment to the character, but also wanted to wish him luck. So that's really cool. Like I said before, Superman only has 42 lines of dialogue, so he could count as best sharpshooter because he's barely in this movie. Jesse Eisenberg would show up to set in disguise to hide his look. And in this time where we're all, like you said, Jader, we see everything right away, all the news comes out right away, he hid his look for quite a bit. So I think that was really cool from Eisenberg, that he really took this role seriously. And then finally, this is really cool. Ben Affleck auditioned for the role of Robin in Batman 1989, but the character was then cut from the film. So of course he never got it. But could you imagine Ben Affleck as Robin back in Batman 1989? That's crazy, right?
It's wild.
No.
All right, we're skipping questions today. I didn't get to write any today. But let's move on to Apex Mountain. I think it's hard to find any.
We're not going to do the sequel to this film?
We got the sequel.
All right, I have a quick answer to that. I'm going to let you guys write it. What does a sequel to this film look like?
Justice League.
That's my answer.
He's not
Justice League. That is not the sequel to this movie. I really hope and I don't think it's gonna save too much. And again, I don't like Justice League, but I don't think it's the worst. I think Suicide Squad is way worse. But I really hope that the Snyder cut is gonna be worth it. I really hope that all this controversy online and everything that they've been saying, how we did not get that film. I really hope it's different, because let me tell you, from the trailer that we did get, I see it slightly different. I don't see too much difference. It looks kind of like the same film for me. And not Doomsday. Darkseid looks like shit so far. So
I agree with you. I'm actually. Are you done? So I can like go and tell you like what
you're good to go.
Because Justice League, again, I think everybody knows I hate the movie. I don't know how much of a difference the Justice League director's cut's going to be. I loved the trailer we saw at DC Fandom. I really enjoyed that than the entire movie itself. The original Justice League. My concern is, okay, once this movie comes out in the 4 parts, right? What happens then? What happens after that? You know, will they gather the team together? What was this going to happen after Robert Pattinson's Batman? I have a bunch of questions. I'm like, is Henry Cavill going to sign contract with DC and do another?
I think yesterday he did, if I'm not mistaken. Yesterday they announced that he was that was fake.
It's not a legitimate website. I would say it's not a trusted website.
Because I know Affleck is back for the Flash movie.
Yeah.
That's set in stone.
Yeah.
I think Cavill, and this is something that people are gonna fucking go crazy over. And I grew up with the Christopher Reeves one, but I feel like Cavill is our Superman. I feel like he is what Superman is. I know that a lot of people are like, no, it's Reeves, and I understand that, and I get it for the time being. It was awesome, but this is what when I read Superman comics, that's why I think I loved Man of Steel so much, because it was seeing the comic book, like my Superman come to life. That was what Man of Steel was for me. So I was super pissed when they said that Cavill was not coming back, and we lost Affleck, because I needed a shot of redemption for Affleck for what we got in Justice League, because he did so great in this movie. So a solo Affleck movie would have blown our minds.
It was in the works, and then
writing and directed by him. Yeah. So it sucks that we're not gonna get that. It is what it is. Could have, would have, should have. It is what it is. They're going the direction they are. We got the trailer for the Batman. I think all three of us actually lost our minds watching that trailer, because again, it looks like a fucking David Fincher film.
Yeah.
They haven't. We know who the Riddler is. They just haven't showed him, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They have not showed him. I think we do know. Ooh,
all right.
Why are you laughing, Kyle?
I just read Tim's comment.
Has
Margot Robbie. That's funny.
Oh,
That's funny.
But, real quick, guys, before we get to Apex Mountain, actually, let's do Apex Mountain real quick. Then I'll ask this question, because I really don't think there is anybody that qualifies for Apex Mountain in this movie. My answer was Robin, because it's the best portrayal of Robin we've ever seen in any film. You just see the suit, and he's dead. And I think it contributed more than.
I was like, "What did you see, dude?"
That's so funny.
I have no one for Apex as well. I don't feel like anybody qualifies, because it's not Cavill's best film. It's not Godot's best film. It's not Affleck's best film. It's not Snyder's best film.
It's not Iron's
best film. It's not Amy Adams' best film.
Hell no.
It's
not Jesse's. And not Jesse's.
Yep.
No. I completely agree with no one, really. This isn't.
I don't feel like anybody in this, not even Hans Zimmer, nobody, or anybody that was involved in this film. I don't think they qualify. I don't think anybody. And this is a first of a show, because we usually pick one person, and it's no one. That is the right answer. Is that it's no one's Apex Mountain.
Sure it's not Robin?
Tell me that I'm wrong. I'm positive it's not. There's no Robin.
I think you've had better.
I mean, can you make an argument for a better Robin right now?
Oh God.
I think you can't.
I have nothing. I'm not saying anything.
Have you seen the show Titans?
It's the Russians' Apex Mountain.
It's the Russian guy.
No. Clearly you haven't seen Power, sir, because he's awesome in Power. So, nice.
So
but all right, so let's just jump into it, man. Who won the film?
I go Gal Gadot, because I toyed with it, because Ben Affleck I thought was great, and then he went into a depression, and then he lost his movie, and then everything fell apart for him. And then with Henry Cavill,
but we're not talking about the future. We're talking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, Gal won the movie because then she got the future because of the movie. When Ben lost his future and Henry Cavill hasn't been back, he has. Next time we saw Henry Cavill, we saw his freaky little baby face in the front of Justice League at the first shot.
The
mustache
gate. Mustache gate.
No, so he didn't win this movie. So I go Gal, because she was the one person everybody was talking about coming out of this. I can't wait for Wonder Woman, and she does. Every scene she's in, and that guitar riff for her theme when she comes in. So I go Gal Gadot, which is surprising in a movie called Batman v Superman.
Ladies first, go on.
I was gonna say the verses. I'm kidding. You see, I didn't think about that. That's interesting. I was gonna say Ben. I was gonna say Batfleck.
That's my pick too.
This was his first movie. I mean, I know we're talking about the future. This kind of set him in stone as our Batfleck of the moment. But then you're right. He hit a depression. He was supposed to have a Batman movie. They took that away from him because of creative differences and shit and all this other crap. And yeah, damn. I guess Gal. But my number one pick was Ben.
Ben's amazing in this movie. I really love Ben in this movie. He might be my favorite part, but his future after this went.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Well,
I'm not talking future.
Jader,
I'm not talking future.
Jader, we talked about this before, man. He's my favorite Batman that we've had. When we did the ranking of our favorite Batman, he's my favorite. I think because what I told him, Miriam, is when we look back in the past, we've seen Christian Bale is a great Bruce Wayne, not a great Batman. Michael Keaton's a great Batman, not a great Bruce Wayne, and Adam West is just in a different level of himself. I think he's great at both, and that's why I.
How are you gonna disrespect my boy Clooney, bro? You're not gonna even mention Clooney in the mix?
No. It's not.
But look. In all seriousness, I'm not. Let's say we would have done this episode with no future films, right? Like, let's say Dawn of Justice, we're reviewing it. It came out yesterday, right? That's how when I do Who Won the Film, I usually talk about at that point in time. Who won the film, right? We're not talking about depressed, lost my job, Justice League. I'm not talking about any of that shit. So for me, Ben Affleck won this movie, right? Okay. Again, a movie called Batman versus Superman. There was more Batman in it, and we got a truly badass Batman that everyone was hating on. All right, everyone was hating on Ben Affleck, saying that he was never gonna, and he got fucking ripped. You just how many
20 pounds of muscle.
20 pounds of muscle. He was a jacked Batman, right? Not only that, crushes the role as both, right? And he just took how many lines of dialogue did the man get over Superman?
40.
Which is the Man of Steel sequel. This was the Man of Steel sequel. Like, this is what it was, right? Ben Affleck hands down won the movie. Again, not talking future. It sucks what happened, but at this point in time, once this movie released, he's what won the film for me. I loved Gal Gadot, but at the end, again, I walked out of there and I was like, man, this is all. I can't wait to see her. But I wanted to see. If you would have told me we're gonna give you Wonder Woman and a solo Ben Affleck Batman film, I promise you, I probably would have said a Ben Affleck film just because of what I saw in the warehouse. And again, me being a Batman fan, you know. So, he dicho.
One quick question I want to ask you guys. Well, it might not be quick, but I want to ask you guys, what are your favorite DCEU movies? Like, if you had to rank, I guess there's only 8, so I don't want you to go through all of them. Like, give me like your top
3.
Let's do top 3. Yeah. Mary, I want to start with you. What are your top 3 DC movies?
Are we including the Dark Knight trilogies? Because no, we're not doing that. Okay, great.
From Man of Steel to Birds of Prey, but minus Joker, because Joker doesn't count in this.
Right. Oh, damn. Okay,
yeah, I wasn't going to count Joker.
Right, I wasn't going to count Joker either. My number 1 was Wonder Woman, right? Because I'm a girl. It's different. I love seeing.
I feel like we're all going to have the same top 3, just in different order.
Right. My number 1 is Shazam, because I had never had so much fun in a movie theater with a DC film. You know, like, yes, it had more light than dark, but either way, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. So Shazam, number 1. Number 2, Wonder Woman, because that's my girl. And number 3, what else came out? I'm trying to think.
Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey,
Man of Steel,
Aquaman, Man of Steel.
Okay. Yeah, Man of Steel number 3. I did not like Aquaman. I mean, Aquaman was whatever.
I hate Aquaman.
Squad, Birds of Prey was fun, but not much. So my top 3 are Shazam, Wonder Woman, and then Man of Steel.
Jader, go ahead.
All right, so my number 1 is Man of Steel. I absolutely love that movie. I know it gets a lot of, I feel, unnecessary hate, but I get it. My number 2 is Wonder Woman, and my number 3 is Shazam. Those are my top 3 as well.
All right.
But yeah, I love Shazam so much. Shazam, let me tell you, is one of the few movies that, again, I saw the teaser for it. I didn't see much trailer, but it's the one movie that I wanted to immediately watch the movie all over again. If I had the chance to, because I saw it at an early screening, and I got to see it like a month early. So I wanted to immediately not just leave my seat and just like replay the movie all over again. How much fun I had watching that movie. Mm-hmm. Absolutely love Shazam. But yeah, so Man of Steel, Wonder Woman, and Shazam are my top 3.
Okay. I go Wonder Woman #1. I just for what it means, what it meant for just female superheroes and representation, all of that, but also for the movie just is so good. I get emotional when she steps out onto no man's land and the music slows down and she's just
best scene. That's my favorite. That's my favorite scene in that movie.
I think actually that takes the cake for best scene in DC period. Like it's incredible. Them all working together. She jumps into the tower. You got the guy who's the sniper. Like everyone just works really well, but she steps into the forefront. And for some reason, I just feel the emotion of everybody who's watching a female superhero for the first time. I feel it too. And it gives you goosebumps every time you watch it.
It's very powerful. And everything that I kept thinking, because my daughter, I think when did Wonder Woman 2017, right?
Yeah.
So my daughter was 3 at the time, and I'm like, I can't wait for my daughter to grow up and see this for the first time. That's all I kept thinking. How empowering it was for women, for little girls. It was just a powerful scene to see such a badass front and center, and it's a woman. So I honestly can vouch for that. Like, as much as I love the warehouse Batman scene, I want to say No Man's Land takes that for me as well. I want to say that's yeah.
I agree with you 100%. As a woman myself, and seeing her, like, I cried in that scene. It was just so powerful to see. And Wonder Woman, growing up, I had the comics. I have like the sweater or the gear, and then everything just popped up. It was so emotional for me because not much of it was of that, like, merch and all this crap. Nothing was like that when I was younger. So seeing this and seeing the representation, it's great. Yeah, it's a top. And
they play it so well too, because before it, they say it's called No Man's Land because no man can cross it. And she could have easily said, well, I'm not a man, and got up there. She doesn't.
Yeah. You wouldn't get that cheesy ass line. Absolutely.
They played it so well. So that's why I think that's why I put it #1. #2, I say Shazam too. I think Shazam is just such a blast of a film. It's truly how a kid would act with superpowers, and we get to live that experience through Zachary Levi, and just it's a ton of fun. I've gone back to see it quite a few times. It's really good. And then I'm going to be different here. #3 for me is Birds of Prey. I love this movie. Birds of Prey.
You really do love that. You really do love Birds of Prey. You always bring it up.
Birds of Prey is a fun movie. I loved it too. I just don't think it's top 3 for me. But.
It's such a blast seeing Margot Robbie, get emotional over an egg sandwich in the morning with hot sauce on it, and then
when you're hungover, I would be emotional too.
One of the best breakfast sandwiches I've ever seen in my life.
They did a tutorial on it. You know that, right? They did a tutorial on how to make the Birds of Prey bagel. Oh my gosh, it looks amazing.
And then her like going through a breakup with the Joker. I thought Ewan McGregor was amazing in this film. And Ewan McGregor, so one of our awards is the Gary Oldman Everyone Award for overacting for his role in Leon the Professional. I see so much of his character in Leon in Ewan McGregor's Black Mask, or whatever his name is, in that.
That's one of my takeaways from that movie, where one of my cons, if you will, because I'm so used to gangster Black Mask. Where I wanted to see that evil Roman Sionis character, and we got a very eccentric character where I just wasn't used to it. You get me? And the thing between him and Victor Zsasz was a little weird for me as well, where I'm like, I'm not used to these characters being this way, because they're both very serious and very aggressive, fucked up characters, and we didn't get that. So I was hyped that they were both in the movie. But when I ended up getting that, I'm like, oh, holy shit. I'm like, why didn't we get what I wanted to get? But at the end, again, McGregor worked for the movie. It's just, that hashtag not my president, not my Roman. It's not my Black Mask.
You're going to make me want to watch this movie after this, because I am a big fan too. I forgot about that.
And
have you ever seen the animated movie Under the Red Hood? Batman Under the Red Hood? Please watch it, because it's Black Mask is the villain in that, and you kind of get it.
It's Ewan McGregor Black Mask.
And I love McGregor. I really do. But it's funny because I had my shout out to my boy Dustin. He hates it's his Topher Grace. He hates Ewan McGregor, and he saw that movie. He's like, bro, Ewan kicked ass. I was like, really? And I'm like, out of all the fucking movies he's done, that's the one you like? And he goes, I don't know, man. I dug it, dude. I dug it. And I was like, what the fuck?
Say it, Kyle. Say it.
Well, also the final scene or the final battle in Birds of Prey where they're at the carnival, right? And there's two moments that happen in the fight that I love. One is where Margot Robbie just hands a hair tie over to Black Canary, and it's like, I guess I've seen women talk about it after.
Relatable.
Like, every
relatable.
woman talks about it. Everyone's like,
so relatable.
There's such a woman moment, and every woman would know what moment it is, and it's the hair tie.
Yeah,
and it's like, and it's unanimous. Everybody's like, the hair tie, yeah, the hair tie. And I was like,
when I saw that, I'm like,
I'm bald, so I'm like, whatever, I don't get it.
But then also there's the moment where they're fighting and then it cuts to someone else and then suddenly Harley Quinn's got roller skates on and they're just like, how did she have the time to put on roller skates? But she does, and she's swinging the hammer around. So Birds of Prey I feel like that's only going to climb up for me as it goes on. I know some people just don't like it. I don't understand why. It's such a blast. So
I had a lot of fun with it. It's just, again, it falls like mid-tier for me. But these three I feel very strong about. Like, I love where, again, we went on a slump with DC films where when Wonder Woman came out, we kind of went like, we started going up again. Because again, you guys didn't like Aquaman. I absolutely fucking had a blast watching that movie. Good time.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Many, I hated the movie. I not that I hated the movie, I just didn't like it. But when you give me the Africa song with Pitbull, that's when you know the movie is wrong in all many ways. I'm just saying.
Okay. I completely forgot that was even in there, to be honest with you. It's not something that I hate that
part.
Guys, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of the Jader and Kyle Show. Really good discussion today, guys.
2 hours, bro.
2 hours, man. But that's what happens.
That's what talk.
Comic book movies. I mean, every time we bring up a comic book movie, it goes long. So, really, no, it's good, Miriam. And thank you so much for joining us today, Miriam. It was such a blast. Plug your show again so everyone knows where to find you.
Sure. Inside South Florida. If you're in the Miami, South Florida area, it's the WSFL TV channel 39. We're there. It's wow, I almost forgot. Saturdays 7 p.m. or Sundays at 3. And you can catch me on my socials, Miriam Tapia, on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
All right, and Miriam, you're always welcome back anytime you want to come back on.
You guys holler.
Yeah, if there's a movie that you actually like,
we'll talk a movie that you like actually, and we'll gush about that one next time.
I love this. The hating, the loving, I love it. I cannot wait to come back. This was a blast. Thanks for having me, both of you guys. You guys are amazing. Great job on the show. Proud of y'all.
Thank you so much, Miriam. It was kind of nice getting to talk about a movie that we had differing opinions on, because usually we're just praising movies on here, but it was nice doing a little back and forth. So, but also to everyone in the comments, thank you for watching along. Really fun episode. It was a lively chat today, and I know you guys had a good time. So, Jader, any last things you want to say?
No, that's
All
it.
Right, perfect.
Batman vs. Superman is not that bad, man. Give it a shot. Give the Ultimate Edition a shot. I think you guys will change your mind. If you have not seen my Schmodown episode, even though I spoiled it in the beginning of the show, please go back and watch it. Click like, subscribe, say that the hurricane rocks. Just show me a little bit of love, man, so they can see that you guys want me to come back. I just got an email that I will be coming on next month. They're giving me an email on who I'm facing and the time, but I don't know when it would air, so I can't really talk about that. So that's a lot of fun. And then catch me, obviously, right here on the Jader and Kyle Show sometime next week. We don't know when. And we don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be fucking great.
Guys, we've heard your feedback. Another movie draft is on its way. So keep that in mind.
Absolutely. And I think it's going to be freaking awesome. You guys are going to love it. It's going to be a fun one. We have a very special guest for that show. So
can't wait for that. Wow. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. And once again, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll see you next time, another episode of the Jader and Kyle Show.